I wanted to ask you, ask Coach more about it, and Diamond told us a little bit about it. Can you tell us about you guys' trip last weekend? Not the scrimmage part, but as far as the team bonding and the haunted houses and the zip line, just being together. What did you kind of learn about some of your teammates being in that situation for a weekend and kind of getting closer?
I mean, we definitely learned who was scared of heights for sure, with the zip lining. But then you also kind of see people step out of their shell, see who's like, goofy on the team. You have some people who are like sarcastic, but like in a slick way. But just being able to kind of see the personalities of everyone and then having everyone in a small, like we were in like a house. So just being able to be together and just like, I don't know, like it's just a whole bunch of different personalities in one room. So I'm sure most of you know how that goes. It can be a lot of laughs. It can be a lot of like, I almost ran up to Azai and like tackled her because she said something, but that's just like who she is, like just being goofy. So yeah, it was cool. We played some pool. We did some of like the foosball stuff. I made Legos. So it's fun.
With so many new pieces, so many new faces, transfers, freshmen, how big is that kind of that kind of weekend to get together and bond and kind of get on the same page?
It's definitely is something that like any team I say would take for granted. Like I'm glad that we did what we did, and it was good to work out the kinks and also see who plays well with each other. Just kind of like getting a feel of how what it would be to play a great team, and just like how it would be just to play together. Like I haven't played with any freshmen, like similar to what you were asking, and just kind of knowing where they go when I drive to baseline, or knowing their best shooting like some people like bounce passes rather than chest passes before they shoot. So like kind of just like getting a feel for everyone was great.
Alec, you can go.
Yeah, Kai. You obviously are using that extra year of eligibility. I was just, if you could take us through what that kind of decision-making process was like for you, and kind of what were some of the things that made you decide, okay, I want to come back and finish this out with another year.
Yeah, so I mean, I was talking to my parents and like some of my support system, and it was a no-brainer. I mean, you try to bounce the ball, play basketball as long as you can, especially get another opportunity for the people on the professional level to see me play for now the number 5 team in the nation. Whoop whoop. So just like that, and then also you can't go wrong with another year of education either. My family was super big on like no books, no ball. If you don't have good grades, then you don't play basketball. So just being able to add on to that is something huge.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, Guy, you were a local player out of Raleigh when you picked NC State, so you've been around the program even before you got here. Just can you discuss the development of this program since you were being recruited to really where it's at right now?
Yeah, so I actually was being recruited when it was the old Reynolds. So I know when people say like, oh, like I didn't play in the old Reynolds, but just kind of like knowing what it was like, the atmosphere of it, and just like how we won. I think Coach Moore might have said this on one of the interviews, how like the more we win games, the more fans are going to be. So kind of like seeing that, type of develop. And I'm sure we haven't reached our peak yet. I know we haven't reached our peak yet. So just seeing how many fans have come and supported us, like people who have stayed loyal. And on top of that, now we're having more students come to our games and everything. So just being on the sideline and being a recruit cheering, sitting behind the bench, to now being a part of it and kind of growing as a Wolfpack family was great.
And just to follow up, last year your team was viewed as a title contender. This team, how do you see it going into this year with some of the pieces you've added?
I mean, once we start, the pieces fit well. I mean, of course, the people that play with each other know more about how each other's style of play is. But once the new additions, we have great new additions. Once they start mending and molding in well, and just like figuring out who plays best with who, it comes to a point where it doesn't matter who's in the game. We just, have that connection regardless on who's playing. So I think once we get to that point, I mean, I think we'll be unstoppable. Like the starters all coming back. And once, everyone gets on the court, it's just, who's up next, regardless on who's starting, or, if someone's shooting the lights out, then we just get them the ball. And with that, anybody on our team can shoot the lights out. We have shooters from 1 through 5.
Thank you.
Mitchell, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You said earlier, no books, no ball. So I was curious, are you, with this extra year, are you working on your master's now?
I wish I could say yes. You actually have to have 2 years of full-time experience to get the master's here at State. So I'm actually taking classes that will get me a certificate, but then they'll also go towards my master's.
Okay, what are you studying?
So I'm actually in 2 certificate programs. The first one is sport entertainment venue management, and the second one is professional communication managerial skills.
Cool, gotcha. And last weekend when you're on the zip lines, who's the most afraid of heights?
I heard that, so we actually did it in 3 groups, but of course we heard all the stories when we got back to the house. But I think it was Camille and Diamond that were kind of shaken up, because I think it was their first time that they've ever been at that type of height and then in that kind of environment. Because like when you zip line, the trees, it kind of just takes over the actual zip line. So you're like going in blind, but it was a beautiful sight. But I think that those 2 were the most, I wouldn't say afraid, because I would be upset if someone said I was afraid of something. So I would say they were nervous.
And you were cool, no screams, no nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, because I did it my freshman year, we went to Asheville. So it's crazy to say it was 4 years ago, but we went to Asheville and we also did zip lining. But because it was a different area, it was a little bit different scenery.
I love it. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Kai, Jonas wouldn't ask you, but I got to ask you, who won that scrimmage against Tennessee and how'd that game go?
Yeah, we won. We won it. It went really well. We broke down some of the film this week, and we get film sent out so we can also watch it ourselves. So it was good. It was a good learning tool. We all work hard, so I think it'll be good to once we work out the kinks to be able to go through with the season.
Anything else for Kai?
Yeah, I
Alec?
got one more if I can.
Yeah, Alec, you can go, and then
Oh.
Jonah, I think that was
Sorry.
you.
I thought-
Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, you're fine. We've talked a lot about Diamond, but you also have 2 freshmen coming in the backcourt. You mentioned Isaiah James earlier, Jessica Timmons as well. Just what have you seen from?
Yeah, so both of them work hard. I mean, they're in here early, getting up shots. They ask me questions. I know still something will happen on the sideline. I know coach is a big stresses the importance of, like, if he's talking to me, it also applies to everyone else. So they make sure that they're soaking in as much as they can. I know as freshmen, and being on a team that's as good as we are, you have to try to set yourself apart. So just their work ethic. I mean, they hustle, they get boards, they can knock the shots down, penetrate dish, all of the above. So just them, it'll be a scary sight to see how they play when they're seniors.
Jonas, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I apologize for blurting out. I have one more, Maddie.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Cal, I want to know more about this haunted house. And who's freaking out? Was Coach Moore in there with y'all? Who was running the fastest to get up out of there? Like, what was that experience like?
So that was another thing where it was in groups. So we had the smaller the groups, I guess, more scary. They said that it was. So it was a group of 4. And it's funny that we were just talking about the freshmen. Me and Isaiah were with each other. We're in the same group. And, we're like linked up, but it's a one-way trail. So we're almost walking like sideways and just like having people jump out and everything at us. But I don't know. In our group, I'd probably say our manager, Allie, she was she almost tumbled down a couple of times. So I would say that. But when they had like the thing, I'm personally I won't say I have a fear of it, but I don't appreciate clowns. Like, I can go without clowns. And then also like Chucky, like dolls and everything like that doesn't have to, if those things didn't exist, I'd be okay with that. So like, I would say that with those, like, that was the segment that I was just like, I don't want this.
All right.
I imagine you learn a lot about your teammates in situations like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just like, one time they'll be good. Like you'll be walking through and, I don't like clowns. And the person in front of me is just like cracking out, laughing at me. But then the next thing you see like zombies on the next one, and I'm sitting here chilling and the person in front of me is like going crazy. So it's cool, like seeing like in that split second, how someone's personality will switch, like how they would just like switch gears to like straight defense mode to straight comical.
Great. Well, thanks, Kai. Thanks for joining.